Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. In late 2019, no one expected that novel coronavirus will impact on our life. But today, we become the victims and the witnesses of how this virus ruins our world. Honorable judges and committees, I'm Faliha from Al-Furqan Jember, and today I'll be delivering a speech about Indonesia's emergency public restriction. Ladies and gentlemen, maybe you are wondering why I said that this virus ruins our world. It sounds too much, but here I show you why. My parents ran a mini market for our passive income. Back then, everything worked well as usual. However, during the emergency public restriction, the government instructed the shop owners in town to open their shop late and to close it early. This policy really puts our mini market on edge. What about the others? It can be worse. I do believe that this kind of regulation makes them down more than before. During this pandemic, trading activities have experienced a very clear difference. Many businesses are closed because of losses, and sales turnover has been far decreased. Sales strategy has to change completely from offline shopping to online shopping because they are forced to make a living. Not only in small sectors, have been a lot of companies even forced to shut down ever since this pandemic happened, as they couldn't keep up anymore. With many employees to pay and very little amounts of sales that they made, they wouldn't be able to survive. With big companies going bankrupt, obviously, there are also a bunch of people losing their jobs. Minister of National Development Planning, PPN, or head of Bappenas Suharto Monoarfa, also explained that in Indonesia, the number of unemployed people increased by 3.7 million due to the pandemic on July 2020. And this number is still rising up now. This increase is quite worrying, as those people who don't have any income probably struggling hard to complete their daily needs. Not to mention, they also need to buy hand sanitizers and masks to protect them from the virus. Other than economic problems, we have another serious problem in dealing with pandemic. For instance, mental health and psychological problems. This pandemic forced us to stay at home for a quite long time. Thus, may lead us to cabin fever, the feeling of restlessness, irritability, and loneliness. The never-ending emergency public restriction by government is enough to trigger the cabin fever. People who are highly social or active may be more disposed to cabin fever than those who are accustomed to spending time alone. They need some help from a mental health professional if the stress of living in an emergency public restriction are getting worse. For us, students, this emergency public restriction just makes us more tired. The situation is just like another series of lockdown, which causes us to suffer physically and mentally. We have to study all day in little Zoom boxes, where the line between school and rest gets blurrier every day, along with our eyesight. More exercise, avoid screens, do something relaxing. Yep, those are what others said as solution for our problems. However, all of those quick fixes are easier said than done. I think to myself, how can I exercise if I need to finish all my homework for today? How do I have fun when there's emergency public restriction which forces all entertainment venues to close? Besides the bad things I mentioned previously, we should thank to our government on making this policy. According to COVID19.go.id, in the wave of COVID-19 attacks that occurred throughout July, there were more than 50,000 COVID-19 cases per day in Indonesia. The number of cases are far decreased to 8,000 per day on August. Most importantly, the emergency public restriction has resulted in positive impact, not only on the virus cases, but also for our environment. The rivers are now clearer, and the air quality, which usually polluted by us humans, has improved remarkably. Ladies and gentlemen, a bunch of things have changed since this pandemic. Some rises like a rocket and some falls like a stick. There's nothing that we can do right now except staying at home and carry out social distancing. But we are still able to make choices that will shape our world's decades to come. As history has shown, pandemics have forced humans to break with the past and come back stronger. This one is no different. It is a portal, a gateway between one world and the next. In the end, our togetherness is the key to deal with these challenges that will build a stronger society, prosperity, and safety for all. I'm Faliha, thank you for listening. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.